When the Marxists say, well, that wasn't real Marxism, what it really means, and I've thought about this for a long time, it's the most arrogant possible statement anyone could ever make. It means, if I would have been in Stalin's position, I would have ushered in the damn utopia instead of the genocidal. And if the power was in your hands, assuming you had the competence, which you don't, you wouldn't have done any better. And even if you had, there would have been someone else waiting right behind you to shoot you the first time you actually tried to do anything good.
I'm sorry, Jordan, but that's a piss-poor argument. And that's unusual for you. The fact that people who attempt to do good in this world tend to get shot isn't actually relevant to the position. The argument is the validity of Marxism, or whatever alternative form you subscribe to, as a viable economic model, and not the difficulties associated with its opposition. Capitalism could have easily fallen to the same forces that hijacked Marxism, and some argue it already has to a lesser degree. But the fact that a dictator always lies in the shadows awaiting their coup isn't a sufficient indictment of Marxism itself.
And that's what happened to all the old guard who ran the damn revolution. Stalin rounded them all up and shot them, along with their families and millions of other people.
One of Marxism's biggest failings is in its neglect to account for human greed. But can one count humanity's penchant for unscrupulous behavior as a failing in the system itself? Because all system shortcomings are a result of human fallibility. People tend to conflate Marxism and communism with the dictators and authoritarian regimes that usurp the movements, and to claim that Marxism is somehow intrinsically linked to those things in a way that capitalism is immune to strikes me as intellectually dishonest. Now, don't take this as an endorsement of Marxism or communism either. I'm just pointing out that people tend to do a piss-poor job attempting to dismantle them. There are so many arguments that attack policies and ideologies that were essentially separate from Marxism itself. In order to have a real discussion, we need to stick to the economic and social model and not the method in which it was implemented in the past by people with no intention of proper management. As Peter is quick to point out, Stalin and his ilk were not the real Marxists. And so this is not an argument against a particular economic system, but rather a case of might makes right. And nothing about capitalism would stop Stalin or Chairman Mao from taking over America if they had an insurmountable amount of force in order to do so. So I have to agree that it's fair to say that Marxism never really got a fair shot, in that it was never conducted as intended, and that its past failures are due far more to the conditions of the time than the viability of the idea itself. Personally, I think all systems are flawed, and we should strive to amalgamate the best of all.